So today is a day that we are going to exit the box. Hello everyone, Brett here. So if any of you have ever lived with someone who plays piano, or have gone to take piano lessons with a classically trained piano teacher, you must have heard about the Hanon Exercises, or the Hanon Exercises.
Le pianiste virtuose en 60 exercices calculés pour acquérir l'agilité, l'indépendance, la force et la plus parfaite égalité des doigts ainsi que la souplesse des poignets.
Now these ones go up and down the piano keyboard, and the first exercise is like probably the worst earworm that you ever get. Seriously, it's like the death spiral of music. But what has inspired me about those exercises is that they take the scale and they go up and down the piano keyboard. So what I've done in the style of Hanon is I've taken a lick that is in B minor pentatonic, and it repeats the exact same thing through 3 octaves. So what you get to see is you get the exact same notes, but because the guitar is the guitar, the fingering is kind of whack for all 3 octaves. So you have to really know what the notes are across the whole fretboard. That's it. You gotta know what the notes are across the whole fretboard. So if you haven't seen it already, I've made a video about scales. And no, scales aren't just those things that you find on a fish. Scales are those arrangements of notes from the smallest or the lowest, say, all the way to the highest. And it's arranged in that pattern from lowest note to highest note. You can basically make a scale with any sorts of notes that you want. But I've taken the most common scales in that video. And the more common scales that you'll hear are the major scale, the minor scale, and of course the pentatonic scale. So let's say that you've just dusted off your guitar and you're in the mood to create some tasty licks. Maybe you're hungry or something. So the best way to go about creating your tasty lick is to practice your scales. Now I've made a scale video in the past, so you can go check that out. The only problem is that if you're going to make a lick that sounds good, then obviously you can't just play in the box pattern. You have to move all over the place, and then the box pattern only becomes useful for actually learning the names of the notes. It doesn't become so useful for developing a lick. So again, the best way to figure out what the notes are that are going to be in your lick is to know the notes that you want to play in the lick. So whether it's going to be a lick that's going to be in the major key, the minor key, or the pentatonic key, it's best to start off with the major scale because that's going to have all of the notes that you want to do. And then after that, you can look at the scale that you specifically want, say the pentatonic scale, and remove some of those notes. The problem is that I'm stuck inside this box. I can't go over here. I can't go past over here. I'm really stuck and I can't exit this if I'm going to do a solo. The advantage of the pentatonic scale, particularly the minor one, is that I can do the major pentatonic scale on D, and the major pentatonic scale on D is going to be the exact same notes. Okay, so what I've done is I can have now 2 boxes. I've got my box here, and I've got my box here. So I've got the exact same notes, but they in 2 separate spots. But what happens if I want to move all the way up here and stay in B minor, or I want to go down here and I want to also be in B minor? This means I have to know the names of the notes.
One thing that you can do if you're really looking for some ideas for some new licks is to pick up a book like this, which is like Jazz Guitar by Ted Greene, and it's jam-packed full of licks that you can practice all day and all night, and it's arranged by scale and everything. I personally find the finger shapes on the top are a little bit confusing, so I would just say practice these licks or some of the licks until you get an idea of licks that you can do. The only problem is exactly this, is that the licks are stuck inside the box. So they stay in that position and they're not meant for shifting up and down the neck of the guitar.
So in order to do this lick or create a lick that's like this, you have to know the notes that are in the scale and then be able to find them all across the fretboard. So my challenge this is to start the 3-octave lick challenge. What I want to hear is your licks that you have created that don't just stay in a box pattern. I want to hear the licks that go all across the fingerboard. So that's why I've chosen 3 octaves. The guitar's register is 3.5 octaves, so with 3 octaves you've pretty much got the whole thing covered.
Anyway, I've gone ahead in my favorite DAW and created and then I made 2 guitar licks over the pentatonic scale in B minor. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and listen to this awesome track, starting with lick number 1. I mean, the drums track sounds like crap, but the rest of the guitar part sounds okay. And after that, this is lick number 2. Magnificent. Okay, so the challenge is going to be this.
So I'm excited to see what you come up with. Post a video with the hashtag threeoctavelickchallenge. Post it on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and we'll see what you came up with. I want to hear a lick that's 3 octaves, use whatever scale that you want, and it goes up and down, or just up or just down. The best way to see 3 octaves on the guitar is just to do the whole tone scale, because that will get you there the fastest. So like this. You can try making a lick with the whole tone scale, that would be cool. And it uses the same notes repeated across all 3 octaves. Or even just, it goes all through all 3 octaves. It doesn't matter, it just has to be 3 octaves. Let's take control of the guitar fretboard. Anyways, post your video. Again, the hashtag is threeoctavelickchallenge. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. We'll have a look at that. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Cool.